In our daily lives, we often feel as though we are at the helm of our minds, a skilled driver in the seat, steering our thoughts and actions with deliberate, conscious will. Yet, upon a moment's introspection, we discover a profound truth. Much of our mental navigation is pre-programmed, operating as a built-in system that exceeds our immediate knowledge and understanding. This internal navigation system, which governs our perceptions, emotions, and behaviors, is akin to a sophisticated display screen sitting atop an intricate software running on equally complex hardware. Without a deep understanding of how this system works, where it is programmed to take us, and how to override it when it leads us astray, we risk wandering aimlessly through life, arriving at destinations that are unfulfilling at best and disastrous at worst. The illusion of the conscious driver. At first glance, we believe that we consciously control our minds. We think we steer our thoughts, make decisions deliberately, and determine the course of our lives based solely on our willpower. Yet, when we pause and examine our inner experiences, we realize that much of our behavior is governed by a hidden navigation system deep within us, a system comprised of our memories, emotions, beliefs, and inherited archetypes. This system operates largely in the background, directing us in ways that we often cannot perceive. We are, in many cases, passengers in our own lives, following routes programmed by our unconscious mind. This hidden navigation system is built on layers of personal history and collective human experience. While we see only a fraction of its workings on the display screen of our conscious awareness, the vast majority of its functions remain obscured, influencing us subtly yet powerfully. Without understanding this system, we risk being led by forces we do not fully control, forces that can drive us toward unfulfilling patterns, missed opportunities, and even personal disasters. Jung's early life and the seeds of introspection. Carl Jung's own journey towards self-understanding began in his early years. Born to Paul Jung, a modest rural pastor, and Emily Jung, a mother with an eccentric and somewhat depressive temperament, young Carl was an introverted, sensitive child. Isolated and imaginative, he often engaged in solitary play and deep reflection, observing the adult world around him with a keen analytical eye. His early aversion to traditional schooling, marked by frequent fainting spells and a deep-seated discomfort with the rigid structure of formal education, hinted at a mind that was not content with surface-level experiences. In time, Jung's passion for self-exploration led him to immerse himself in philosophical and religious texts, laying the groundwork for his later psychological theories. Though he eventually followed a more conventional path by pursuing medicine at the University of Basel and then at the University of Zurich, Jung's innate curiosity about the nature of the human mind and soul continued to shape his intellectual journey. His subsequent work in psychiatry, particularly his tenure at the psychiatric hospital under Eugene Bleuler, provided him with the clinical experiences that would later inform his groundbreaking insights into the unconscious. A pivotal moment in Jung's career, and indeed in the field of psychology, was his encounter with Sigmund Freud in 1907. Their initial meeting, which reportedly lasted an astonishing 13 hours, set the stage for a profound yet ultimately contentious collaboration. Freud, then the towering figure in psychology, viewed Jung as a promising protege, and the two soon developed a relationship that combined both friendship and a teacher-pupil dynamic. They traveled together, lectured, and analyzed each other's dreams, forging a connection that would influence the early development of Jung's ideas. However, the inherent differences between Freud's scientifically reductionist approach and Jung's more mystical, symbolic perspectives soon became apparent. While Freud focused on sexual drives and repressed desires as the primary forces behind human behavior, Jung was drawn to the symbolic, archetypal dimensions of the psyche, elements that transcended personal history and connected individuals to a collective human experience. This divergence eventually led to a dramatic split in 1913, marking Jung's definitive break from Freudian theory and the beginning of his independent exploration of the psyche. Jung's self-exploration and individuation. Following his separation from Freud, Jung entered a period of profound inner exploration that would become the cornerstone of his later work. Between 1913 and 1918, he experienced what he described as a midlife psychological breakdown, a period marked by intense introspection, vivid dreams, and powerful visions. During these turbulent years, Jung embarked on a journey into the depths of his unconscious, documenting his inner experiences and developing the concept of individuation. Individuation, for Jung, is the process by which an individual becomes fully conscious of the totality of their being. It involves integrating the disparate elements of the psyche, the conscious and the unconscious, the personal and the collective, to form a cohesive, authentic self. This process requires not only the recognition of one's strengths and virtues, but also a courageous confrontation with one's shadow, the parts of ourselves we hide away or deny. Jung argued that only by acknowledging and integrating these hidden aspects can we hope to achieve a state of wholeness. The architecture of the psyche. Central to Jung's psychological model is his conception of the psyche, which he divided into three interrelated realms: consciousness, the personal unconscious, and the collective unconscious. Consciousness and the ego. Consciousness is the realm of our active, waking awareness. It is where our sense of identity, what Jung called the ego, resides. The ego is responsible for our everyday decision-making, our self-image, and our personal narrative. It is the driver we believe is steering our thoughts and actions. However, the ego is just the tip of the iceberg. It represents only a small fraction of the entire psyche. The personal unconscious. Below the level of conscious awareness lies the personal unconscious, a repository of forgotten experiences, suppressed emotions, and repressed memories. This part of the psyche contains all that the ego has deemed unacceptable or unworthy of attention. Despite being hidden from our immediate awareness, the personal unconscious exerts a profound influence on our behavior and personality. It is here that unresolved conflicts, trauma, and untapped potential reside. The collective unconscious and archetypes. Perhaps Jung's most revolutionary idea is the concept of the collective unconscious, a deep, universal layer of the psyche that transcends individual experience. According to Jung, the collective unconscious is a shared reservoir of human experience, containing archetypes, universal, symbolic motifs and images that have evolved over millennia. Archetypes such as the mother, the hero, the shadow, and the self are embedded in our collective heritage and shape our perceptions, behaviors, and cultural expressions. They serve as the fundamental building blocks of the human psyche, influencing everything from personal dreams to myth and art. The shadow and the path to wholeness. A central challenge in Jungian psychology is the confrontation with the shadow, the repressed, denied, or hidden aspects of the self. The shadow comprises those parts of our personality that we reject or fail to acknowledge, often because they are considered undesirable or shameful. Yet Jung believed that the shadow is not inherently evil. Rather, it represents unrecognized potential and unresolved issues that, if integrated, can lead to profound personal growth. The process of confronting the shadow is fraught with difficulty. It demands radical honesty, self-compassion, and the willingness to accept that we are not always the idealized images we construct for ourselves. Ignoring or repressing the shadow only causes it to manifest in destructive ways, through projections, unhealthy relationships, and self-sabotaging behaviors. True individuation, Jung argued, involves embracing the entirety of the self, light and dark, and integrating these elements into a balanced, authentic identity. The persona, masks, and authenticity. Another crucial concept in Jung's theory is the persona, the social mask or identity that we present to the world. The persona is shaped by cultural expectations, social roles, and the demands of everyday life. It is a necessary adaptation that allows us to function within society, but it is often at odds with our true, inner self. Over time, the persona can become rigid and oppressive, trapping us in roles that do not reflect our authentic nature. Jung cautioned that an over-identification with the persona can lead to alienation and a sense of emptiness. To truly become one's true self, one must peel away the layers of the persona and confront the inner reality beneath. This process requires vulnerability and a willingness to explore parts of ourselves that we might prefer to keep hidden. By doing so, we can begin to align our external actions with our inner truth, leading to a more integrated and fulfilling existence. The process of individuation. Individuation is the journey toward wholeness, the process of integrating the various aspects of the psyche into a unified self. It is a lifelong journey that involves continuous self-exploration, self-acceptance, and transformation. For Jung, the purpose of life is not merely to adapt to society but to become the fullest expression of one's true nature. Individuation requires a delicate balance between embracing the unconscious and asserting conscious will. It is a process of dialogue between the ego and the deeper layers of the psyche, where each encounter, whether through dreams, artistic expression, or unexpected life events, offers an opportunity for growth. By paying attention to these inner signals and symbols, individuals can begin to decode the messages of the unconscious and make conscious choices that lead to authentic self-expression. A key element of individuation is the integration of the shadow. Rather than rejecting or denying the darker aspects of the self, the individuation process involves acknowledging them, understanding their origins, and finding ways to incorporate them constructively into one's identity. This integration not only reduces internal conflict but also unlocks hidden strengths and insights that enrich the overall personality. Becoming your true self. At the heart of Jung's psychological vision is the call to become one's true self, a state of authenticity where the individual lives in harmony with the entirety of their being. To become your true self is to move beyond the superficial narratives dictated by societal expectations, the persona, and the conditioned responses of the unconscious mind. It is a journey of radical self-acceptance, in which you confront both your light and your shadow, and embrace the fullness of your potential. This journey is not a simple one. It involves a continual process of self-reflection, introspection, and sometimes painful self-honesty. It requires the courage to face the parts of yourself that you have long hidden away, to question long-held beliefs, and to acknowledge that you are not always the person you aspire to be. But it is precisely this confrontation with your inner reality that opens the door to true transformation. As you delve deeper into the recesses of your psyche, you begin to recognize that the mind is not solely governed by your conscious will. Instead, much of your life is directed by the hidden navigation system of your unconscious, a system built from your personal experiences, inherited archetypes, and the collective memory of humanity. By learning to understand and work with this internal navigation system, you gain the ability to override those parts that lead you astray and direct your life toward a destination that is truly reflective of your deepest values and aspirations. Carl Jung's insights into the human psyche have given rise to numerous methods for self-exploration and healing. Among these, dream analysis stands out as a powerful tool for accessing the unconscious. Jung believed that dreams are the language of the unconscious. By carefully analyzing and interpreting your dreams, you can uncover insights that guide you toward greater self-understanding and authenticity. Another valuable tool is active imagination, a process where you engage in a dialogue with the various aspects of your psyche, including the shadow, the animus/animus, and other archetypal figures. Through creative expression, journaling, or even art, you can explore these inner dimensions and bring them into conscious awareness. This process of active dialogue allows you to integrate disparate parts of yourself, transforming internal conflicts into sources of strength and creativity. The perils of ignorance. Without a willingness to explore the depths of our inner selves, we risk becoming passengers on a runaway train, merely reacting to life's circumstances rather than actively shaping our destiny. When we ignore the hidden forces that drive our behavior, we may find ourselves trapped in unfulfilling cycles, making choices that lead us toward lives that are uninteresting at best and disastrous at worst. Jung warned that failing to familiarize oneself with the inner navigation system could result in a life of aimless wandering, where the individual is led by unconscious impulses rather than conscious intention. This lack of self-awareness not only stunts personal growth but also prevents the realization of one's true potential. The journey of individuation, with its emphasis on radical self-acceptance and integration of the shadow, is the antidote to such a life, providing a roadmap for transforming hidden weaknesses into sources of resilience and creativity. The rewards of becoming your true self. Despite the challenges, the rewards of embracing your true self are immeasurable. As you work to integrate your unconscious material into conscious awareness, you begin to experience a profound sense of inner wholeness and authenticity. This process liberates you from the confines of your conditioned patterns, enabling you to live a life that is not dictated by automatic responses but is the result of deliberate, conscious choices. When you become truly aware of your inner navigation system and learn to work with it, you gain access to a wellspring of creativity, resilience, and wisdom. You start to see life's challenges as opportunities for growth rather than obstacles to be feared. In this state of authenticity, your relationships become richer and more meaningful, as you interact with others from a place of true self-knowledge rather than from a fragmented persona. Furthermore, embracing your true self allows you to tap into the collective reservoir of human wisdom, an inheritance of archetypes and symbols that connect you to the broader tapestry of humanity. This connection not only deepens your understanding of yourself but also fosters a sense of belonging and purpose in a rapidly changing world. Overriding the built-in navigation system. One of the most profound implications of Jung's work is the possibility of overriding the default settings of our internal navigation system. Much of our behavior is governed by unconscious programming, habits, reactions, and beliefs that were formed long before we developed conscious awareness. These programs often lead us down paths that may not align with our true desires or highest potential. Learning to override these automatic responses involves cultivating a new relationship with your inner world. It requires that you become an observer of your own thoughts and emotions, learning to distinguish between the conditioned impulses of the unconscious and the deliberate choices of the conscious self. This is no small task. It demands constant vigilance, self-discipline, and above all, a deep commitment to self-awareness. Techniques such as mindfulness meditation, cognitive restructuring, and even creative visualization can help you reprogram your internal navigation system. By consciously choosing to focus on positive, empowering thoughts, and by challenging long-held beliefs that no longer serve you, you can gradually shift the course of your life toward a destination that is more aligned with your true self. The journey toward becoming your true self. In the intricate interplay between the conscious mind and the vast, mysterious realms of the unconscious lies the key to becoming your true self. Carl Jung's work reveals that much of what governs our lives is hidden beneath the surface, a sophisticated internal navigation system comprised of repressed memories, archetypes, and inherited symbols that direct us without our conscious awareness. To live authentically, we must embark on the challenging yet rewarding journey of individuation, a process of integrating these unconscious elements with our conscious self to forge a complete, unified identity. This journey demands radical self-acceptance, courage in confronting the shadow, and a willingness to override the programmed responses of our internal navigation system. By engaging in practices such as dream analysis, active imagination, and mindful introspection, you can begin to unravel the mysteries of your psyche, reclaim the parts of yourself that have been hidden in darkness, and steer your life toward a destination that reflects your highest potential. Ultimately, the task set before us is nothing less than a lifelong quest for wholeness, a quest to kindle a light in the darkness of mere being and to embrace the full spectrum of human experience. Through this journey, you may discover that every moment, every misstep, and every wasted year holds the potential for restoration and transformation. In aligning with your true self, you not only honor the legacy of Carl Jung's profound insights, but also step into a life of authenticity, fulfillment, and boundless possibility.